Muslim and voting, read this before you vote. Stick to the principles, taqwa and ikhlas. It's a big trust and amana. Don't take it lightly, it's a huge responsibility. Choose the best candidate, not on rees. Stay politically aware, don't follow blindly. Scrutinize the manifestos, know what they stand for. Ask the right people and seek advice. Think holistically and rationally. Make dua to Allah for guidance.
Begins with a beautiful mindset. When you wake up, take a second to think about what a privilege it is to simply be alive.
Okay, so my friends, pleasant, good afternoon, Trinidad and Tobago. And those of you who are locked on, those of you who have been anticipating our program, Hardfacts, that is aired on Sentinel Media Broadcasting Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays, starting time 12:15 in the afternoon. Again, my friends, it is very, very important for those of you who are locked on to share this video. As we have been mentioning to you over and over, this program is your program. It is a program that has been designed, it has been designed for you, those individuals who feel that you are really and truly, you are, heartbroken in the sense of representation, whether it be at the community level, whether it be at the governmental level, whether it be maybe at any different levels that you would feel that at this point in time that you are not being represented. And we are here to identify, because I tell you something, the political fever is on in Trinidad and Tobago. Election is just mere weeks away. And my friends, many people are contemplating and they are still trying to identify, who we should vote for and those kind of things. And people are being branded over and over and over. I want you all to stay tuned today on our program, Hardfacts, where we bring reality. We bring reality to what is taking place on the ground floor. We are talking about, issues that really and truly can make and break an election. And that is something, I tell you something, Trinidad and Tobago, we have the voice, we have the opportunity in our hands at this point in time to select a candidate that is going to represent us. Matters not the political entities in our country, and it goes both ways, whether it be PNM, whether it be UNC, whether it be anybody outside there, or the smaller political entities. You're going to realize that none of you or many of you have not been really and truly dialogued with or communicated with or had any communication with any one of those political parties when it comes to choosing or selecting a candidate to represent the different cadastrals, different constituencies in Trinidad and Tobago. That has been thrust down your throats, and you have no choice, because you are saying, many of you are saying this, that we are reeling from the PNM government for the past 10 years and nothing is going our way, so we need a change. And if that is the reason for change, then my friends, I tell you something, we might get an exchange, right? We might get something worse than what we are bargaining for, simply because you and I, as citizens of this country, of people living in different localities and different areas in our country, we would like, in our own capacity, we would like somebody from the area from the constituency level, so that, you know why we want that? Because we could be able to bond with them. Hear what? When you have a problem, even so much so the councillors are selected. They are selected from different areas, again, representing different areas. When, you know, people from the area went up for, you know, for selections, and they went up for nomination, and they were not selected simply because maybe some of those candidates, they were not towing the party line or the leadership line. So today in our program, my friends, we are going to really and truly sit down, amicable here in our program, and we give you the opportunity to call us at 372-2129. Call us. Let us know what is taking place in your community. Let us know what is going on, because that is really and truly issues. Because when you look at what is taking place in the international arena, when you look at what is taking place in America, what is taking place in China, what is taking place in Europe, it is going to affect Trinidad and Tobago for sure. And that's the reason why the decision that you and I is going to make on the 28th of this month, my friends, is the most important decision of our life. So again, welcome to our program. My co-host, Mr. Premchand Baldev. He's already geared up. He have about 5 pages filled with information that he would like to share. Maybe today we mightn't be able to really and truly share all those information, Prem. That's a full, that you did a biography. No problem. So again, my friend, this is your program. Those of you who are having your lunch, maybe in the different arenas, you are working, maybe you are buying a doubles, maybe you're having a nice lunch. But I tell you something, when a man hungry, any lunch he get, it is very, very much important to him. Right? So again, for those of you who are fortunate enough that your wives, your moms have prepared for you, thank, you know, before you eat, say a prayer and thank those people who have provided that meal for you. All right? So again, my friend Premchand, you are really and truly, I mean, astonishing this.
Welcome to our program, Hardfacts, viewed on Sentinel Media Live Broadcasting. It is indeed a pleasure being here with you, Imam, for the past 2 years or so. And, you know, usually I would begin by saying, Assalamu alaikum, peace be unto you. Namaste.
Walaikum assalam.
And, you know, a pleasant midweek good afternoon to all of our viewers in Trinidad and Tobago and the world at large. Now, my friends, our director compiled a list of countries and the amount of views in those countries, people who are viewing our program, Hardfacts, for the past, I think it is, for the past year or so, director. So here we see the United States, 3,707 people, Trinidad and Tobago, 2,825, South Africa, 290, United Kingdom, 269, Canada, 246, the Philippines, 218, Brazil, 157, Mexico, 154, Guyana, 125, and he missed out Nepal. We have at least about 90 to 100 people in the beautiful country of Nepal who view our program on a regular basis. So to all our viewers and all of our family countries, so to speak, thank you very much, and continue to share and to view our program. Now, my friends, the Imam said that I have a biography here. Well, this is a biography of things that are yet to happen. So I don't know how you're going to term that. What, you know, what name you're going to give that. However, my friends, in this little country called Trinidad and Tobago, 1,864 square miles, 41 constituencies, a third world country, we have 17 parties vying for supremacy to enter into that august house called Parliament to run the political affairs of this country, Trinidad and Tobago. A little country, 1,864 square miles, and Tobago is how much? 16 square miles or 16 or something. Within that 17 parties, Trinidad and Tobago, we have 160 candidates that are contesting up to contest the general elections coming up on the 28th of April 2025. Who will be victorious? The people, the citizenry of Trinidad and Tobago are the ones to decide that. In so doing, in deciding who will be victorious, Trinidad and Tobago, you need to pay particular attention, and the Imam touched on that in his opening remarks. One, the quality of the candidate that is presented to you. Remember, you had no input in choosing that candidate. Like we here in Shogunas West. Up to the last moment, no one knew who the candidate was. No one even knew that candidate was screened for Shogunas West. All right? So you need to know the quality of the candidate, the character of the candidate. Does that candidate, have matters pending in court and that sort of thing? The character of the candidate. their past, their present, and their previous records and performance for you in your constituency. And I'll tell you why we say for you in your constituency. You know why? Because Trinidad and Tobago, my friends, is a land of tribal voting, a land of geopolitics, a land of party politics, regardless of if the candidate is worthy of you or not. That's how we vote in this country. We have to put that aside. And we have to, we have to adopt the American mentality now. Dollar, a value for your dollar, value for your money, and performance. What are the plans? What are the policies that is going to be, implemented to make our life comfortable and safe for the next 5 years? It seems that we're trying to we don't care about that. We don't care about value for our money and how we are going to survive, happy or not, for the next 4 or 5 years in general election. You know, my friends, there's a biblical statement that says, "Blessed is the parent that leaves an inheritance for his children." That being said, and why I said that, is that we need to take our country forward for generations, our children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren to come. We need to leave a good playing field for them, a bountiful one. We don't want to go elsewhere for greener pastures when we have salt, we have fertilizers here to fertilize the pastures. We want to leave that for them. Hence the reason for Sentinel Media, live broadcasting, hard facts. Imam, have I said enough?
Yep, for sure. So again, my friends, as my co-hosts have really and truly identified some of the manners and the system that we have to use when we select our candidates. And basically, what I have said in the opening remarks again is the candidates have been entrusted. The word entrusted, that is one word, and then there's another word which means trusted, means pushed down our throat. And the other one is entrusted, which means a little less when it comes to the ruffian manner of receiving something. Somebody entrusts you with something, that means to say that, they give you the privilege, the honor of protecting and serving and what have you. But when somebody trusts something,
shove it down your throat.
They shove that down your throat. And this is what we have been seeing in the past. We have been seeing this presently. And we have been seeing this in all political alignments. PNM, United National Congress. We're looking at all the other subservients, the smaller parties. And again, my friends, we are going to really and truly ask certain questions here today. Now, we have heard from the past communication with the past Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, and we want to be real here. Because I tell you something, people are branding me PNM. I am branded PNM. I don't know if Prem is branded, because I'll just give you an example of what I'm speaking about. Yesterday, members of the community of Felicity, they went to support their party of choice. And when they went there to support their party of choice, the maxi that took this group of people to that venue for that meeting, that political meeting that they had, people were coming out and mentioning to them, this is the PNM Maxi, and this is the PNM Maxi, and this is the PNM Maxi, simply because people living in a cadastral whereby they would like to see a candidate of their choice, and they would have some sort of input when it comes to selecting a candidate. You and I know this, my dear friends, my dear brothers and sisters in our country, Trinidad and Tobago. Branding, once you do not see eye to eye with one political party, automatically you are part of the opposition or you are the part of the government. Like, for example, on this program, we have been identifying, we have been telling you things. And my friends, that yesterday when I got that news, and a person called me and told me from the venue itself that, Imam, we went to a certain meeting. That's last night, Monday night meeting. And, I let the cat off the bag right there.
Yeah.
Right? The Monday night. Anybody who listened, they would know.
UNC forum meeting.
Right. And when they went there, the people they exit the bus and they were coming out, people who were there, other people who were there in that function, they identifying that this bus it is a PNM bus. It's a PNM bus. And when that happens...
But Imam, you said it all because of you.
Yes, basically because of people living in my area, communicating with me, members of my masjid and so forth. And I find that was really and truly distasteful from some of those persons who know for a fact that individuals who were on that bus, they were supporting Kamla Prasad Bisesa all the time. I can't tell you what to vote, who to vote, when to vote. That is your jurisprudence. That is in your jurisdiction. I can't tell you who to vote. We could come here, Prem could come here, and we could campaign for the PNM. But when the point of question reaches and you go into that ballot box, people will say, yeah, I voted this, and you know that.
That is your
and the leaders of parties know that. So don't get tired up and feel that you're going to brand people, because I'll tell you something. We are seeing mass migration at this point in time. The latest mass migration would have been, I think, Devant Maharaj. And there's an editorial on the daily newspapers stating that, and if he's still a member, he remain a member of the United Nations. And this is something that myself and Prem we're going to discuss, because we look at Anita Haynes, we look at Rai Ragbir, we look at Rushton Pare, we look at Dinesh Rambali. At no point in time they came out and chastised, or they came out and acted in a manner that was befitting arrogance and all these things. They didn't do that. And they never come out up to this day and say, well, here what, we are supporting the PNM, or we resigned from the party. They never did that. And we are seeing people who started their own parties. This is how, two-tongued, and this is how, fickle-minded people are. Because we come here and we talk about politics, and we identify with politics, and we do things and we say things to bring clarity.
Yeah, but Imam, what we do in this program, all right, we give facts and information that is already out there.
Yeah.
And that has been researched. Now,
just a reminder.
Let me just add some here. The Imam, made reference to people, their mass migration away from the United National Congress, and one of the names he called is Devant Maharaj. All right. Let me just spend a minute or two on that issue of mass migration away from the UNC. Do you recall Samuel Sanka, a councillor from Warrenville?
Yeah.
Resigned from the United National Congress and went over to the People's National Movement. Do you recall Senior Councillor Larry Lala? What about Dr. Rai Ragbir? They did not resign. Dinesh Rambali, they challenged a democratic process. All right? And they were branded as dissidents, and they were not entertained or welcomed back anymore into the United National Congress. They were left below the bus on the wayside. How many of us recall Victor Roberts? What about Joel D'Souza? These are people who have gone away from the United National Congress. Alan Aaron Lachman from Faizabad constituency. Kavish Siulal, youth armed officer. Sheldon Garcia from Arima. These are people who hold councillor position and party constituency executive positions. What about Taraka? Is it Taraka Obika?
Yeah,
Tahara Obika.
Tahaka.
You remember that Senator Tahara Obika?
Tahaka Obika. Yeah.
Why are these people moving away? Do we have a caller, director? Caller, welcome to the program, Hardfacts. You are live. Go right ahead.
Yes, good afternoon. Assalamu alaikum, Sitaram, and of course special greetings to the host,
We're not hearing you, director.
Imam Rashid.
Okay, but shall I continue?
Continue.
Okay, you recall...
Yes, sir. Caller, please try us back, please. We had a little difficulty in receiving your call. Go ahead.
Right. We had Kavish Siulal, youth armed officer. Sheldon Garcia. You recall Sheldon Garcia? These are people who resigned and gone away from the UNC. Arima Central Councillor Marcus Gidari. Marabella Councillor. We had Jason Ali from the Siparia area. Safraz Ali PRO from the Safraz Ali from the Sawa Barataria constituency. We had Marshall Walker from Digo Martin West. So many people have gone away from the United National Congress. The question is why, and why is this not being addressed by the United National Congress? These are very serious issues. And an election year, so many people are moving away. You understand? No, my friends.
Caller, go ahead, caller.
Caller, go right ahead.
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Chief.
Yes, Assalamu alaikum.
Welcome, salam.
And Sitaram, of course, my commendations to Imam Rashid Karim and, of course, Premchand Baliu. This is Dinesh Rambali calling.
Good, good.
Welcome, MP Dinesh.
Well, I am just an ordinary person. There's no MP to my name anymore, right?
Okay. But you know,
Okay, so
with that MP title, we'll stick with Prem when I have to address you in the future. For life.
Go ahead.
all
go ahead,
right.
go ahead,
I
Dinesh.
I wanted to just tell you all that keep up the good work, that you all are doing. Maintain, the focus on issues that affecting, the country. I really appreciate tuning in from time to time. I don't always get to tune in every episode, but, from time to time I do watch it. I watch it on rerun. So I really appreciate, the work that you all are doing. The reason why I'm calling today, though, is I wanted to use your forum to be able to just, wish all the students, SCA students, best of luck tomorrow. I know parents. I mean, I think it's like over 17,000 children who are writing SCA this year and tomorrow. So I thought that, you're talking about a very large population of people, their parents, families, the schools, the principals, the teachers, everybody, and especially, first and foremost, the students. I really want to give them best of luck. And I thought that, given the wide reach of this program, I felt that it was good that we could start off and, just probably
Thank you very
say,
much.
good luck with them. And I know both of you men are family men and you all have families and stuff. So you all would appreciate giving this. So I really appreciate the time to be able to do this.
Thank you very much, MP.
Thank you very much, MP. That is
All
our
right,
former-
Okay, gentlemen, keep good.
Yeah. So, trying to be good, that is our former MP for Sherwood West, my very good friend, my brother, Dinesh Rambali. He's an advocate, a lawyer by profession, and a former industrial court judge. So, thank you, MP, for your call. Now, trying to be good, while you know what I was saying, so many people holding key positions in the United National Congress has moved away from the United National Congress, and probably they are independent or they have joined other political entities. That is their prerogative, right? Now we here, the Reverend Imam Rashid Karim, who is my friend for over 40 years, I always say this, we went to primary school together, right? And we come here from time to time, 3 days a week, and we give information. This program is unbiased. It is a level playing field program. UNC do this, we say they do that. PNM do this, we say they do that. We are neutral. When you're in the media broadcasting, my friends, especially a program like this, you've got to maintain your neutrality.
Exactly. So, my friends, those of you who are locked on, we were talking about branding individuals, right? Now, I'll tell you something, and we have seen that, and if that branding is coming from the upper floor, right, the bottom floor will adopt it. Basically, what we have seen is that anytime somebody starts speaking out against any abnormalities, whether it be in the United National Congress, whether it be in PNM, or whether it be in any political parties, basically the stigma that goes with it is that these people are maybe the opposing factor, whether they change their color code and so forth and so forth. But what pained me is knowing for a fact that this group of people from Felicity, from the area of Felicity, they went there in a meeting to support the Honorable Kamla Prasad. And you notice, at no point in time we come here and we degrade Kamla Prasad Bisasa. We always use terms like the Honorable Kamla Prasad Bisasa, and we don't talk about anything negative when it comes to the individual personality. We talk about issues, right? And I'll tell you something, that was very, very much disheartening for me, knowing for a fact that because of the alignment of Imam Rashid Karim, you understand, they would say that Imam Rashid Karim is a PNM. I want to ask the question here, what caused that thought to come across your mind? Maybe you as the individual thinking like that, maybe you are contemplating moving across to join the PNM bandwagon simply because you are not benefiting the way you want to be benefited. We are not doing this for benefit. We are not doing this for benefit. We do this for people. We do this for community. That's the reason why we are here. Nobody pays us. We don't take ad. We don't take 50,000 ad and 40,000 ad. And if, director, pull up those statistics again. People from all parts. When we talk about people from South America, people from North America, look the figures there.
Look at the countries that views our program. United States, Trinidad and Tobago, South Africa, United Kingdom, Canada, Philippines, Brazil, Australia, Mexico, Guyana, Nepal, and also India, Suriname. Also.
And those are just a few we just copy over this to show you all, you know, the relevancy of this program. People are watching our program. We should become ambassadors, and when we're not getting information, when we're not really and truly seeing the truth of the matter is that Trinidad and Tobago really and truly are going to feel the brunt of whether the Dragon deal go through or not. It is going to happen. And when we look at the tariffs, that is really and truly being implemented by the Trump government, you and I would realize, you know something, in the Caribbean, look at it, and we're going to take a break after I just dissect this. In the Caribbean, you're going to realize Trinidad and a few of the Caribbean islands, and the CARICOM islands, they were hit with a 10% tariff. But when we look at Guyana was hit with a 38% tariff. And basically, my friends, you're going to realize that something is not really and truly adding up. And at this point in time, knowing what is taking place with Venezuela and Maduro and so forth, if Donald Trump would have put 88% tariffs on Guyana would have remained silent because they have no dogs to back to, and they would have to remain silent. When you look at 150% tariffs in places like China and all these things, what is going to happen? What is going to happen? You know, I just highlighting what we're going to discuss in the next segment of our program. We are hearing this. We are hearing that PNM did not shut down, or did not close down Petrotrin. We are hearing that. And people are just jumping into conclusion and saying here, how PNM could say that. We on our program said this, and we identify on many occasions. Dr. Keith Rowley said that we're not going to close down Petrotrin, and even so much so, you were maybe closing the fridge door and you didn't hear carefully. We are not going to close down, but yet still, at the end of the term, and we saw that happened, that occurred, Petrotrin was shut down. Even so much so, the chairman, who was it, the man in charge, was saying...
The guy who said all,
yeah, he said, you
home.
call me in the middle of the night or any other time, I am stating to you that every single one is going to go home. But hear what? We're going to dissect that when we come back. Because I tell you something, for a Prime Minister, that is the Honorable Stuart Young, at this point in time, to come outside there, knowing for a fact that people like us, we're looking for a man who is honorable. We are looking for individuals who have morality, who have spirituality, and before that we saw PNM close down Petrotrin, and now the Prime Minister is saying here what PNM did not close down that. We did not close down Petrotrin. So we're going to dissect that. There has to be facts. There has to be reason. There has to be system that transpired in the past 5 years and what is taking place today. So that is what we're going to discuss, because you can't just jump in and say that, they are lying. They say that. They are lying. They say that. And I'm going to dissect it forensically when we come back after our break. So those of you who are locked on, stay tuned. I want you all to listen carefully. And nobody paid me. Nobody give me anything to come on this program and dissect or say anything. This is what we have been doing from the initial of our program, identifying the anomalies and what we could do to really and truly bring about some sanity back into humanity, especially in our country, Trinidad and Tobago. Let's take a break, and when we come back, we're going to dissect that statement that the Honorable Stuart Young have said.
Muslim and voting, read this before you vote. Stick to the principles, taqwa and ikhlas. It's a big trust and amana. Don't take it lightly, it's a huge responsibility. Choose the best candidate, not on reads. Stay politically aware, don't follow blindly. Scrutinize the manifestos, know what they stand for. Ask the right people and seek advice. Think holistically and rationally. Make dua to Allah for guidance.
Pleasant. Good afternoon, Trinidad and Tobago. You realize that there was a little adjustment there. There was a little adjustment there. My partner here, my co-host here,
breakfast.
he is now having breakfast. Right? So again, those of you who are locked on, this program here is unedited. You might see things, you might feel that here, what, hey, this fella's playing. We're not playing. This is a serious business that we are on. I saw somebody calling in there. That number is very familiar. Maybe if that individual would like to call the program, the number is 3722129, and that is a political activist for the PNM, right? As a past candidate. And maybe they could share the information that they want to share with me. And those of you who are locked on, I would like to call on all MPs, members of parliament, ministers, councillors, whoever you may be, and maybe if you feel that we are talking rubbish, or we are talking things that is pointing in the direction of the People's National Movement, or if we are saying things that is adverse against the United National Congress, we would like you all to call us and let us know. But anybody call us in this station here and use any obscene language. I tell you something, if I have to pay big money to identify where that call come from so that we could be able, because I tell you something, this program, we have kids watching. You all know that tomorrow is SCA and today is no school, and we have kids watching our program, and we don't want people to be, demonstrating the true colors in the true sense of the words. So we're giving you the opportunity. We're not telling you who to vote for. You would like to vote for whichever candidate you want. If you like what is happening in the country, or you don't like what is happening in the country. But I tell you something, liking what happened in the country now and not liking what is going to happen in the country in future is two different things. And that is the reason why today I want to just try to dissect that statement, because you and I know for a fact that the Prime Minister, the Honorable Stuart Young, said that we are not the ones who closed down, the PNM didn't close down Petroshan. We heard that. We heard it up to yesterday. And it is consecutively moving on Facebook and social media and so forth. And I don't think he needs to go to sentence. I don't think the Prime Minister of our country would make statements like that without facts. And that is the reason why today there has to be reasons why the Prime Minister didn't say that. Let me give you an example. And I want you all to listen.
And you know what you're going to explain, Imam, would not come from the lips of the opposition in
no,
the political platform.
They would not. I tell you something. They would not say those things. But I want to tell you all something. Listen carefully. Trinidad and Tobago. And I'm a forensic person. I try to dissect according to common sense, because I know for a fact common sense is before books. Right? And you know something? You are a taxi man in the country, Trinidad and Tobago, right? You are a person who is a taxi man. You know you're a taxi driver. You know for a fact that there would have been a certain period during the course of the day where the flow of passengers is a high influx of passengers. You would not want to take a rest during that time.
That is your productive moment.
Right. You would like to work and you would like to make as much as possible during that period. And then when that period finishes, maybe between 9:30 until maybe about 10:30, 11, you take a 2 hours and then you jump back on the run and you start to pull your passengers again. I would have thought, and I think that is the rationale that the Prime Minister, Dr. Stuart Young, has used. Because basically, at that point when the Petroshan was shut down or closed down, or maybe put in out of hold, or put out of the purification, whatever, and that period of time maybe would have been, as I stated, a time of non-productivity.
Low oil prices.
And then all these things would have mattered when we look at OPEC, and we look at all the different infrastructural bodies outside there who would have said that you can't, like what is happening now in our world that we are living. A man next door, they are suffering. They don't have toilet paper, they don't have food, they don't have shelter, they don't have clothes, they don't have nothing, right? Simply because of embargoes. And then they have oil. The Lord, the Creator, gave them oil. They give them oil there. But because of the superpowers of the world, they cannot refine it, they cannot market. And maybe at that point in time when that happened, and I would really and truly like the Prime Minister of our country, the Honorable Stuart Young to come out and really and truly explain that for the people outside there. Maybe that was the period where there was a non-productivity. Maybe that was the period when the oil,
yes.
the oil producing nations would have maybe clamped down on the number of barrels and so forth. Those are things you just can't say things, and people outside there, hear what they're going to say now. The people outside, and this is ground floor. This is from the White Line. This is not from the towers. This is from the White Line where we are walking the streets. Not like certain candidates, they come in 20 days and they're trying to shake hands, kiss babies and collect monies and try to, you know, build campaign funding and all these things. We are not like that. We don't want campaign funding. We are not campaigning for nothing. We're not going in no parliament. We are the grassroots people. We are the people, for the people, by the people. This is what you call for the people, by the people. Right? The grassroots people who would come here. We are not the shirt and tie, jacket and tie going down there, knife and fork, people going up there. No, we are not like that. We will stand up by the doubles box, eat our doubles, drink some water, and we continue our way. Right? We don't ask for anything. We don't beg for nothing. And if you feel to give us something, we're happy. Because our something is going to be generated, regenerated, and handed down to people. So my friends, those of you who are locked on, maybe you have heard the Prime Minister said that we didn't close down petrol station. Because I tell you something, sometimes you don't have, the governing body don't have to close it down. Maybe when they look at the economics of
Pressure
it.
from outside and external
Yes, you
forces,
look at you look at the economics of it. Maybe other nations. Like for example, let me tell you something. Right now in the country, Trinidad and Tobago, eggs, I'm giving you an example. Eggs was $60 and $65 a crate. Now eggs is $30, $35 a crate. We're talking about 100% drop. Now I tell you something, an egg farmer who is going to put in a batch of layers is not going to put in. He's going to say, here what, better I leave my pen there. Better I leave my pen there. I would not put in oil because basically when I produce this, it is going to cost me $35 to produce a crate of egg. And I have to sell back that for even so much as $30. So I'm going to have 100% losses. Maybe that would have been the rationale. And I would like to hear it from, you know who? I would like to hear it from the Minister of Energy and the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. And these are the things that people really and truly want to hear. People are saying this. People are saying they want to hear this. And I am an advocate for the truth. I want to let you all know, Director, just pull up that video. And I want you all to know some of the criteria that you have to really and truly use when you selecting a candidate. Pull that up, Director. Right? And I want Prem now, Prem from a different standpoint to really and truly dissect that and tell me something if what we are asking for, and this group is not asking for the correct thing, this is the rationale, how we should choose a candidate. How we should choose our candidate. It has to fulfill some of the criterions. Number one, they have to be moral people. You can't be people who have, you are immoral. Look at your character.
I said that in the opening remarks.
Yeah, you have to look at that. Number one, you have to look at that. Now we have seen this, right? This is an advice to the Islamic community, but it goes on the threshold for everyone. Pull it back from number one, Director.
Okay, number one, okay. Read this before you vote. Muslim and voting. Number one, hold fast to principles. In every situation, stick to taqwa, which is righteousness. Ikhlas, which is sincerity and unity. They are the foundation of good choices. Number two, Director, number two, voting is a big trust. Your vote helps elect the person who will benefit our deen, community, and nation. Number three, don't take it lightly. Not voting or voting wrongly may give power to the wrong people. That's a huge responsibility. Choose the best candidate. Look beyond popularity and party. Vote for the one most qualified and just, not based on tribe, race, or emotion. Number five, stay politically aware. Being informed is part of your duty. Don't follow blindly. Number six, scrutinize the manifestos. Every party publishes a plan. Read it. Know what they stand for. Number seven, ask the right people. Speak to sincere, politically wise individuals in your community. Their insight is valuable. Number eight, think holistically and rationally. Don't focus on one issue. Look at the full picture: education, foreign policy, healthcare, justice, economy, crime, etc., and make your choice with reasons, not emotions.
And last,
number 9, make dua, make prayer. Ask Almighty God Allah, in this case, to guide your vote and grant victory to those who will serve with justice and sincerity. Imam, those are 9 really powerful points.
Understand? So
really,
I tell you something, and this is what this station is all about.
That you know what those 9 clauses. You know what it does? It throws 90% of the electorate in this country in the bamboo.
Exactly.
Because they don't follow those guidelines in voting.
And my friends, those of you who are locked on, and those of you who are watching me on TikTok Live, this is a live program that we are in studio at Sentinel Media Broadcasting. Our station is located in Central Trinidad, and we are here Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. Those of you who would like to call us, 372-2129. Director, ensure that the lines are working, please. Because I know for a fact people texting me here on the other line and saying that they're trying to get through and they're not getting through. I tell you something, if you want to WhatsApp us, you could WhatsApp on the same number. You could text us, you could leave a message. We're going to read it out if it is for us or against us. If it is for the PNM, it is for the UNC. As I tell you something, my friends, Trinidad and Tobago, branding people PNM because you know what, they're standing up for maybe what their opinion really and truly stands for. Knowing for a fact, and I'm giving you an example again, the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago stated very clearly that PNM did not shut down Petrosian. And when we look at the non-facts, you know, you look at it superficially. You look at it from the front, like you look at a cake from a window, right? You drive in and you see a beautiful cake, maybe 10 stages high. And you look at that cake and you see that cake and the cake looking very attractive. You might be saying, I would like to eat a piece of that cake. I would like to buy that cake for myself when I'm getting married or something like that. But again, when you realize you go to buy that cake and you ask, give me that cake there, and the person say, hey, you know something, that cake is not a cake, you know, that's just a model of a cake. And that is something that was made out of...
It's a curtain by
hanging
by the window.
You understand? And they will tell you that that is not a real cake. That's a cake that we have there for advertisement purposes. Now, I'll tell you something. I don't think, and I want you all to listen carefully, I don't think Stuart Young is mad. And I don't think Stuart Young is a person without intellectual capacity to go on national TV and make statement that we did not shut down Petrosian. I'll tell you something. There's something called, the word just slipped my mind, duress. There's something called duress, right? That is, maybe you don't want to make a decision. Like in certain cases, when you go for screening.
You are being forced to make a decision.
Yes, when you go in screening and maybe out of 10 persons doing screening, maybe 6 is for one candidate and 4 is for another candidate. But because the power pack individual who was supposed to, who feel that their decision is the only decision that counts, states here what? No, I don't want that person, I want this person. Now 6-4, they have to, have to remodel their decision and say, okay, here what? And here what? You know something? The boss is right. Now that is something that I don't really and truly subscribe to. So I am saying this, that maybe that the time when they closed down the Petrosian, and I would appreciate this, that the Honorable Stuart Young, the Prime Minister of our country, Trinidad and Tobago, I would appreciate now that you come out and make another statement or do another press release or another press conference identifying the reason why at that point, at that juncture, Petrosian had to close down because it was not generating profits. Was it unprofitable because of reason locally? Was it international reasons?
Oh, Imam, what was the loss factor in terms of dollars and cents?
At that point, because let me give you another example of exactly what I'm saying. You all know this. You all know this in the past. Coconut oil was taboo. If you use coconut oil, they will tell you, hey, heart attack, you're going to die, this and that and the next. Coconut oil, no good. And 20 years after, scientists now and fact finders and researchers, they found out, Trinidad and Tobago, that one of the best oil to use, whether it be cooking, whether it be application for your skin, whether it for beauty product, it is coconut oil. So maybe at that point in time when the government of the day, whoever it was who initiated that system of putting the Petrosian on hibernation or sleep for that time, because I tell you something, every government that really and truly wants to come on board, wants to take over the economy of our country, they would like to see Petrotrin open back. Knowing for a fact now that tariffs and tariffs and tariffs.
It is the biggest foreign exchange owner. Now Imam, I received a text here about 2-3 minutes ago. Let me read that text. I jotted it on here. The caller who sent the text says that Prim and Imam, I would like you to highlight this question. And it goes like this. What gives you the inking, I-N-K-I-N-G, that the UNC is going to win the next general election, which is this year, 2025? When in 2015 they lost, having been in government from 2010 to 2015 with 27 or 29 seats, that is what he said. When in 2015 they lost, when in 2020 they lost, when the People's National Movement was at its weakest and lowest, they won. PNM won when they was at their weakest and lowest, and UNC lost when the PNM was at their weakest and lowest. The question here is, what gives you the inkling that the UNC is going to win the 2025 election?
Okay, I just reading some of these messages that coming through TikTok here, right? And people are really and truly identifying with our program. They are talking about, they are bringing back issues like Malcolm Jones and all those, and AV drilling and all those things. Okay, no problem. We are real here. We are real here. We're not going to hide nothing. We're not going to hide any information. You are free to call us. If you have a neutral program, because I tell you something, Trinidad and Tobago, everyone wants betterment for themselves, for their families. I want betterment for my country. I want betterment for my country because a lot of things is happening. One of the most integral things that I am going to support any government, any entity, any political party, remove that draconian property tax, not as we have seen in the past. Not as we have seen in the past. They only say that as a political campaign strategy and tell people this and that. Oh, we're gonna get rid of that. I want a really and truly.
The United National Congress is guilty of that. What you are saying, Imam?
Basically,
they are guilty of that
because they went in power.
The tax.
And that was not acts. Right? And another thing that I want to mention here is Carrying Limited Land. I would like to call on Miss Devika Thomas. Maybe she's watching our program here. Maybe she can call us. Or anyone outside there who represent the farmers. Right? When the United National Congress were in government, why it is that they could not, right, distribute all Carrying Limited Lands. That is not banditry. That is not fraud. That is bona fide people who supposed to get their property. Now I tell you something, if any government come and play now, and they realize that here what, this piece of property here, we could build a stadium, right? And they could be able to boot out the other people from that bona fide deed and plans that was already allocated for these people. My friends, who's to be blamed for that? The United National Congress has to hold take responsibility, and they need to come outside there and talk the truth. And even so much so, the PNM, I am calling on the Prime Minister of my country at this point in time, the Honorable Stuart Young. He made a statement, and the whole of Trinidad and Tobago, because I went all over the place. We are, I'm spending time in different areas. I am a journalist here for Sentinel Media Broadcasting, but basically I am an activist, and we went down south. And we were asking people, and you're going to realize that wherever the United National Congress hold their seat, it is taboo to really go and talk to anybody because their mind is already made up. PNM did enough damages, so here what? We're going to vote Kamla Prasad Bisesa. And when we went in the other range, the northern range now, and we were talking about the people there, because we went there, we didn't put on any color and red, or we put on any yellow. We went there as neutral people, asking questions as from Sentinel Media Broadcasting, and they were telling us the very same thing. So basically, our country is divided by tribalistic votes, and you would realize that the information that we are sharing there, do not vote on a tribalistic environment where you vote because a person is African, you vote African. Because a person is Indian, you vote because of that. No, look at performance. That's the reason why we are in this position today. That is the reason why. So don't blame the PNM or blame the United National. We're not doing that here. We are saying, you the individuals who are supposed to be voting, you are supposed to be voting, look at the morality. Look at the in-depth qualities of these candidates that they are putting down. Look at the party, because I tell you something, I am saying this boldly, right? That any party, any entity eliminate, remove that draconian property tax once and for all.
From the law books.
From the law books, because I tell you something, there are people in this country who are going insane. They are going mad. They are going mad, right? They are going crazy because, you know what? It is already hard. You all don't know this. I don't know if some of you know this, because some of you, it seems as though you all getting free money. When a man has to pay water rate and don't get any water, that's a problem. You're paying for internet and you do not get internet. And you're paying for TNTech, well, TNTech functioning good. I tell you something, in my area, I want to say hats off to TNTech. You're all doing a good job, continue. But there are certain entities that has failed the community, and how do we get redress? How do we get redress? Go on Facebook, they have become immune to that. They have become immune to being bashed on Facebook.
It affects them no more.
No more.
No more.
Because you know why? Because bottom line is this. You could go and pay like how much, you know what? Bottom line is I had to collect my $35,000 a month, my $25,000 a month. I had to collect my pension because many of those candidates, two terms in opposition already.
Pension for
so
life.
pension for life, and we have to pay for that. So I am lobbying and I am championing and I am campaigning for the senior citizens, number one, and for the persons who already purchase, who already pay taxes and all those building material to build houses. My friends, that should be as a sanctuary. It should be an abode of peace so that people can die and live their remaining years in a position whereby at least we have a house. We're going to starve, we're going to fast, but at least we are going to remain in our own homes, and our children, we will not have to be reeling in our graves wondering if our children are being thrown on the wayside. Let's take a break, and when we come back, my friends, we're going to continue on this program.
That's a very solemn note you passed there.
Muslim and voting, read this before you vote. Stick to the principles, taqwa and ikhlas. It's a big trust and amana. Don't take it lightly, it's a huge responsibility. Choose the best candidate, not on reason. Stay politically aware, don't follow blindly. Scrutinize the manifestos, know what they stand for. Ask the right people and seek advice. Think holistically and rationally. Make dua to Allah for guidance.
Welcome back, friends, to our program Hardfacts on Sentinel Media Live Broadcasting. With me in studio is our Reverend Imam Rashid Karim. My good friend, the Imam, has been an activist in this area for past 4 decades. So it's myself. And we have been working together, for long years now, and on many different projects. 99% of them were successful, by the grace of Almighty God. And we are here again, in the sort of in the 3 o'clock of our lives, meaning we're coming to the evening of our life. So we are here, bringing you hard facts, bringing you the real issues, unbiased, unedited. Now, my friends, citizens of this country, you need to ask yourself this question. Was I consulted? Did I had an opportunity to make any contribution in the selection of the candidate to represent me for a general election, to speak on my behalf in Parliament for the next 5 years? If not, why? And if not, what are you going to do about it? Are we going to, election after election, entertain the same insult, the same embarrassment? You take that individual, you have to support him. Okay? Now, as an electorate, you see this finger? This is the danger finger, it is also called the trigger finger for right-handers. What would you like to see implemented by the party whom you are supporting or by the candidate whom you are going to vote for? What policies and principles would you like to see implemented on your behalf, for your people, at your level? Serious question, man.
Yeah.
Because for the poor man in the street, It is food, roti kapra makan, food, clothes, and housing, and safety in your country, jobs for your children, and that sort of thing.
Just hold on a little bit. Let me just touch a bit on that.
You want to?
Thing
Go
here.
ahead.
Here, what is going on? Now we talking. I'm trying to cope with these people here on the live, and I'm dealing with our live here on Sentinel Media. We are live on YouTube, and I'm trying to read these comments. You know, people saying they're not voting, whatever. We don't have a problem with that. We have a problem with people making promises on the campaign platform. We have a problem with that, where you have 1,001 goodies, and you give, you're going to do this and you're going to do that and you're going to do the next, and just after victory, after the election, you have to beg to see people. I remember this when you go to their office, or they say no problem in the campaign. You can call me any hour of the night. Come and visit me by my home. And you know something? When you call them, hey, opening hours is from 8:30 to 4. And when you reach, this is not the place to meet me.
When you reach there, the boss is not meeting.
You have to come to my office, and my office is on Tuesdays. And then on Tuesdays you have somebody else recording for you. You're not coming because you know what? Yes. You're making an excuse that you're in Parliament, or you down there, or we down here. We know exactly what transpires. I tell you something, let me tell you something. Whoever you outside there and you care to say whatever you want, that's your business. Right? You have a freedom of speech, whether it be on Facebook, whether it be on YouTube, or whether it be on TikTok. We don't have a problem. You all come out like us.
You know something, Imam? We welcome our haters, we welcome our detractors and our well-wishers. It makes us strong. It gives us a good source of inspiration. Don't feel we don't have emotions. We do have emotions. But it's an open program.
Exactly.
We welcome you.
Exactly.
Right?
So these are the things that we have to be really and truly mindful of. We have to be mindful of these things.
Imam, I want to crave your indulgence in a very sensitive matter here. I have it as number 3 in my listing, right? And it goes like this. The opposition leader, the Honorable Mrs. Kamala Prasad Bissessa, probably 3-4 days ago in a political platform, said that she has purged the UNC. For the past 15 years, she has been trying feverishly, and now she is successful in purging the UNC of certain elements of caste and creed and monopoly and royalty and, a whole set of things. Trinidad and Tobago, what is the Mahasabha stance on that statement? Because we have not heard anything from any religious body where that statement is concerned. What cleansing and purging opposition leader are you speaking of? What class and creed and race are you really referring to? Imam, you wish to answer?
I will just dive on it a little bit.
Yes.
Number one, when you talk about purging, when it comes to the religious organization, caste and this, that, the next, Islam doesn't have those things.
But then it's Mahasabha. Then it is directed to
Mahasabha. Basically, those purging elements, when it comes to religious organization, it cannot be directing to any Islamic bodies in our country, simply because we don't have any caste system. We don't have anything like that in the true sense of the word. You know what identify you, or what makes you superior above another person is something called piety. Right? Your God consciousness, your God awareness, your God obedience. That's it. That is what make you an individual that is superior. Because I tell you something, we follow a tenet where a black man is not superior over a white man, or a white man is not superior over a black man. An Arab is not superior over a non-Arab, and a non-Arab is not superior over an Arab.
In that case, then the honorable opposition leader needs to tell this country what she meant by purging the United National Congress of caste, of creed, of royalty, and that sort of thing. What do you really mean by that?
And maybe I tell you something. At this point in time, maybe that has been in the pipeline. Maybe people are
long time. She said 15 years.
People are contemplating now for responding to that. But again, the Anjuman Sunatul Jamaat, I can't speak on their behalf. I can speak on the behalf of the Felicity Muslim Organization, the group that I belong to, the IFST, Ummah TNT Muslim Federation. I can speak on that. We don't have them thing like caste. things like caste system and this, that, and
Yeah,
that.
but did that ever exist in the United National Congress?
No, well, if
Caste
that,
system,
if that is
you
the
know?
case, and you are stating here on this program that Kamala Prasad Bisesa
She
has
said that there's a video, you know, somewhere in
I like to
okay.
deal with facts, and they basically, it maybe slipped my mind. But again, Trinidad and Tobago, those of you who are watching this program, right, we are here to identify, and we are here to champion, and we are here to tell people outside there, you vote for the candidate who you feel going to represent you. But again, you know, 18 seats, many of us, we don't have any say. When it comes to really and truly representation, we don't have any say. And that is places like Shogunas West, Shogunas East, and all those things. And the only time that is going to change is when we can really and truly show the hierarchy of whichever entity, parties or whatever, that you can't take the people of that constituency for granted all the time. Right? That is the reason why, imagine this, the executive of a certain area, I don't want to call the area, they were sure that their candidate would have been selected. Even so much so, that is what they were planning. But at this point in time, they have no choice but to toe the party line. Now, party before what? Party before people? Is that the case? You know something? A good leader.
Party before the 9 principles.
Yeah, a good leader is a good follower. A good speaker is a good listener. And people have to start listening to their own selves. And that is the only time, my friend, Trinidad and Tobago, we are in for a really, truly hectic ride.
You know something, Imam? Over the years, you would hear the Honorable Basdeo Pandey and many other political leaders saying that this election is the mother of all elections. How would you, in a similar trait, how would you, characterize this one? Is it the grandmother of all elections? Or the father of all elections?
I'll tell you something. I'll tell you something.
Because this is a very, very because you're looking for a trifecta or a hat trick in victory by the PNM and lost by the UNC, you know.
Exactly. Now, we're looking at whoever, and this is a really important issue, right? We have to really and truly ponder and reflect on. The international scenario, whatever taking place internationally, is going to affect us locally and regionally. And the question begs to be asked, right? If something adverse should happen at this point in time, can Trinidad and Tobago sustain itself when it comes to food stability?
Food, medicine, yes.
Forget medicine. The reason why people get sick is because they're eating bad food. The reason why people sick is because they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. Right? When it comes to food, we jump in and eating fries, and we eating burgers, and we eating this, and we eating that. And you know something? We're not eating healthy, we're not exercising, we're not doing... you know, a man tell me, Imam, Imam, I find you looking slim. You was fasting. I say, yes, I was fasting. I guess slim. And then today he tell me, say, boy, Imam, like you're putting on weight. It's not a matter of putting on weight, you know. It's a matter of putting on stress. When a man belly getting big, it's because of the pressure from top pressing down on his belly, and that's how the belly coming out. When man like me, we had to think about the country. We had to think about the poor. We had to think about the needy. We had to think about the wayfarer. We had to think about all these things happening.
Think about paying wages. Think about paying government taxes.
No, that's why I was borderlining on that now. When we had to think about living, and we had to be looking at bandits and criminal elements coming into our homes and so forth, you understand? What is going to happen is that because of the weight pressing down on your head, basically your belly is going to protrude. So when you see a man with big belly, don't watch him. So that man is taking plenty stress at Trinidad and Tobago. That is a stressful man.
Oh,
that is the reason.
You break for your own self.
No.
You're ringing your own belly.
Prem, I was 43 and now I went 41.
Ramadan was only 2 weeks ago. Where
so Trinidad and Tobago, listen, Trinidad and Tobago, right? We have to understand these things. We have to be real. We have to really and truly... The thing about it is what is happening. Imagine tariffs in places like China and Europe and all these places. We watching television, 150% tariffs. Right? We're talking about 10% tariff from our country and 38% from Guyana and all these places. That is going to have a ripple effect on us here in Trinidad and Tobago. I tell you something, if gas, God forbid, that we don't get any gas in this country, Trinidad and Tobago is going to be a healthier place.
Imam,
Trinidad and Tobago,
60% of the vehicles would be shut down, you know.
Forget it. All should shut down. All church shut down in Guyana. I remember in,
So your lifestyle going to be
in
affected.
1986, when I went Guyana for the first time, I heard dub-dub, 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 dub-dub.
Horse cart.
It's donkey cart.
Yeah.
And they pull in cargo and they pull in bus and all these things. I tell you something, if gas should go, maybe some people would suffer immensely. But I tell you something, grassroots people like myself, that won't bother me.
Yeah,
It's
but
a buy a bicycle
Imam,
and start riding, forget food
you are
and food.
saying so. The cost of taking your children to school, the school van price is going
Prem,
to go up.
Prem,
The
oh-
cost of goods and services will go up. You understand? Your lifestyle going to change because you have to hop a bus or a maxi now.
Prem,
Push your ones.
I don't want to be the reader of
understand?
doom and gloom. I don't
Yes.
want to be the man who reading this script of doom and gloom. But I tell you something, Trinidad and Tobago at this point in time, people invest all their monies. They invest all their time and they do all sorts of things to educate their children. And when you look forward, really and truly, are they, you guarantee that your children are going to get a work in this country?
Well, you know, Trinidad and Tobago, our former MP, Dinesh Rambali, who called earlier in the program, he wished 17,000 students who will be writing essay tomorrow, that is secondary entrance examination, and we have Sentinel Media Broadcasting would also like to extend best wishes to our students. Now, 17,000 are writing, Imam. A similar amount will be leaving school in September, right? From the university, they would be graduates and undergraduates, and from our secondary school, you know, they would be on the job market hunting for jobs. Approximately the same figure. You know, how as a country, Imam, that we are going to, you know, to respond to that. There's that amount of students on the job market looking for jobs.
All right, we had to take
You
that.
understand?
We had to take that a little further.
Go ahead.
Now, what we have to understand is that just as how we have a figure, let me just say, now 1,700 writing essay. Maybe the chances are 1,700 students, 17,000 students will be placed in secondary schools. But I tell you something, not all these children will remain the duration in secondary school. There will be a lot of percentage, maybe a 15-20% dropout because of finance and all these things. And then again, when we look further ahead, right, just as how you were checking, students migrated, graduated,
looking for
there will
jobs,
be
yeah.
there would be people who would be resigning from jobs and so forth. So the job market would be kind of available for the system. But the point here is, bottom line, is what preparation are we making now that the people who work tirelessly from childhood, because we're talking about childhood, we're talking about primary, we're talking about secondary, kindergarten, primary, secondary, university level. They work hard and they pay their taxes and they pay their monies and they pay their dues and they give their sweat and they give their blood in many cases for the country of Trinidad and Tobago. Why it is that bottom line end result is that when they cross that limit, 65 years and over, they still have to find money to pay property tax. That is the point of question. That is why I am here championing that whoever abolish this property tax, devise something else. Devise something else. But you see that property tax is a tax that really and truly causing a lot of mayhem in the minds, in the faculties, in the hearts, right? In the lives of citizens in our country.
Imam, you're correct. That looming property tax is causing clogged artery, is causing HBP, high blood pressure, LBP, low blood pressure. It is causing heart attack. It is causing stroke to our people. Now,
it's not causing LBGT, yeah?
No.
Right, so don't get tired of that. Yeah.
Now, advice to our Honorable Prime Minister,
Stuart Young.
Stuart Young, yes. Prime Minister, revert back to the L and B taxes, land and building taxes. I used to pay 200, I am willing to pay 500, 150% more. Revert back to that. And any government who goes there after the 28th of April, revert back to L and B taxes, abolish that property tax. That's all I have to say.
Exactly. This is what we are asking for. We are talking about country, we're talking about people, we're talking about citizens. We're not talking about animals, we're not talking about layers.
Because listen to me, ma'am, and listen to me, Trinidad and Tobago. For the past 9 years, the country subsisted without property tax money.
Yeah.
Right? How many property tax? 9 million they collected?
Yes.
Which is chicken feed.
And I tell you, when you look
Find
at
ways and means to run the country without that because you did it for 9 years.
Prem, that is an easy
Yes.
thing. That is an easy thing. 100. We look at. Let me just dissect something. Right? We're talking about say $300 million. $300 million to be collected when everybody paid property tax. Right? We're talking on a tenure of a government which should be 5 years. That is $1 point something billion. When we look at around and we look at the mal spending that took place in the past, that is taking place, and that will take place in the future. It's not that United National Congress, whoever come into power, they will just make everything ham, lamb, and jam, and make everything smooth. Because you all know for a fact that there's a deficit when it comes to the monies of
$140 billion.
Where is it that money is going to come from?
That is what political parties on the political platform are not saying. What measures are they going to implement? What investments are they going to generate to raise that money to clear this country of debts?
So are we going to borrow money again?
What they have to do?
Are we going to tax more businessmen? Are we going to tax the citizens of this country?
No.
Are we going to double? Are we going to fine people? Whole day put police on the street?
Imam, to start with, what has to be done? Cut MP salary by 20%. You want to serve? Take a 20% cut in salary. So much you care.
That and a blue fall cock you're going to see, brother.
We need to start with that.
You're not going to see that. You're not going, because in duration of government that came into power, every single government that came into power had an increase of salary. Just check it. We're not making that up. UNC did it.
They didn't even cut
The
salary.
COP did. Yes, everybody. They were not working.
No wonder why 160 candidates coming from 17 different political parties want to sit in that pristine August house called Parliament.
And call politics, joining political forays simply because you getting paid.
There's a lucrative offer waiting there.
Just looking good. Looking good, just look good. Because I tell you something, Trinidad and Tobago, let us be real. Let us be real, right? Let us be real. We're not telling you who to vote for. You go and vote for whoever you want. But I tell you something, you have to be really and truly mindful of what really and truly is ahead of us. What is going to take place ahead of us? After the election, what is going to be the next step? Right? What is going to happen? There's transitions that have to take place. And those transitions is needing of finance. And the question is, we're not hearing it from the political platform where it is that they are going to generate the income really and truly to run the country or to make this country better again.
You know why, man? You know why you're hearing it? Because the audience in Trinidad and Tobago, we like move along. You know, we like cantankerous talk to clap and assassinate people's character. That is the level of intelligence members of the audience have, you know, and the politicians in the platform, they know that, so they feed you with that. And yes, it was a nice meeting. Yes, we're supporting this one and supporting that one. How much more educated did you leave there? None.
Okay, so as
we
we summarize our program here today, I'll just maybe make a clarion call to the Prime Minister and those agencies that had a relationship when Petrotrin has become dormant, and what was the reason for the dormancy? Because again, we are seeing that any government comes into power, they want to reopen Petrotrin, right? And that is questions. Now, is it right time? During that time, it was placed on dormancy, right? Because the Prime Minister saying it was not shut down. It wasn't closed down. PNM didn't do it. Maybe because of the adverse condition at that time. These are the information that people want to hear going on there. They want to hear those kind of information. Come outside, Mr. Prime Minister, and let John public know the reason why, how many billions of dollars were being lost at that period of time.
In other words,
maybe the ladder have twisted differently now, and the level has changed, and maybe at this point in time, it is a viable asset for the people of Trinidad and Tobago to reopen. These are information that we need to hear, and that could really and truly sway, because here it is, we see dragon gas. Dragon gas, now that is not because of PNM, that is because of what is taking place against Venezuela.
In the hemisphere,
and anybody, like for example, Prim, you wear a perfume, and you put on that perfume here, right? I would smell I will get the fragrance of it. Whatever is happening to Venezuela at this point in time, it will affect Trinidad and Tobago, and maybe the decision that took place in the past is going to affect us here today. So the government of the day, and whoever is intending, who is challenging the position, should come forward and say what. All right, let me just give an example before we close. All right, let us just say that the PNM lost the election. And Kamala Prasad Bisesa, right, you came into government, your political party comes into government. Where it is you are going to get oil, where it is that you are going to get oil to refine at Petrotrin to really and truly generate an income or a profit. Are you going to Guyana? Is that your plans? Go to Guyana. Directly go to Guyana and bring the oil here. No, now knowing for a fact that the tariffs that is implemented by the Donald Trump government is 38%.
Yes.
How is it going to be feasible? These are things that we want to know. We are intelligent. We're not dotish. We're not stupid. We have a lot of people here. Sometimes you go by the rum shop politics. Sometimes it's more conducive to people building and knowledge gaining than parliament.
Imam, that question just asked it, right? That answer should be coming from the United National Congress political platform, from the shadow minister of energy.
Yeah.
But you're not hearing that. Now, friends, I just want to say something here. I'm more like that we come to the end of our program here today. In about 2 segments ago programs, the Imam said that, we were speaking about the profit margin of the private businessmen and that sort of thing in the country. And I said that whenever I come here to buy, I would ask for a discount. And the Imam said sometimes he would tell me, take it free. And I would still ask for a discount. Well, it is my prerogative to ask for a discount. If the price is free, I want a discount. No, people...
But you have to look at it. Sometimes the intellectual capacity there doesn't warrant that.
People call me on my phone and say, Prim, you're a narcissist, you're nasty, you're wicked, you're bold, you're shameless, the man give it for free and you're still asking for a discount. The fact of the matter is, if the price is free, I am still entitled to my discount. I want my discount. Talk done. No applause.
And that is basically what politics is in Trinidad and Tobago. Year in, year out. Year in, year out. Term in, term out. Government in, government out. We do not have that prerogative. We don't get anything free, Prim. So we have been accustomed facing the challenges.
Where's the profit margin? And you will borrow $45?
$45, that's plenty. Remember I had to pay somebody to transport it, carry it.
I heard the conversation when the man was talking there.
So those of you who are locked on Trinidad and Tobago, we are talking real politics. We're going to continue on our campaign. We're going to continue on our campaigning trail, and for justice to prevail and for the property tax to be abolished. Because those of you who really and truly understand Imam Rashid Karim, there's a group called RAPT. Right? That group called RAPT was founded by myself, Imam Rashid Karim, and a handful of people right here. And the name of that group was Resistance Against the Property Tax. And we resisted, and the government of the day held back the property tax for a couple of years well. And it was initiated, it was implemented. Why? Because the opposition did not really and truly put up a fight. And I am saying this today, that if the opposition did put up a fight, because they came into government with axe the tax, and yet still that was not abolished. And I am saying it again here on this program, I am saying this for everybody outside, any government abolish that draconian property tax, they are going to get the vote of the people of Trinidad and Tobago. I thank you, and may God Almighty bless each and every one. Before I close, I want to just say, may God Almighty bless all our students who are writing the SEA tomorrow. May God Almighty bless them. And I'll tell you something, just advice to the parents. Please do not put stress on your children. Because you want them to pass a presentation, and this one and that one and this one. Wish them well and let them know, hear what? Right? I remember this, what my father used to tell me when we went for the SEA. He said, hey boy, you know what you have to do? Do all the easy question first.
Yeah.
Right? And that's a really good thing. Right? My name was the first when the result was because of my name A. Right? A. It came first on top of the list. So I just want to let children know outside there. Right? Success and failure doesn't mean a degree.
True.
It doesn't mean a degree. Because I tell you something, a lot of business community outside there, you look at people, a person today in our country, Trinidad and Tobago, a person said that she's the Attorney General of Trinidad and Tobago at this point, and she did not pass maths. And I would not chastise her for that. She was honest enough to say that, compared to other people who have a lot of fake degrees and fake certificate. Be real. A housewife should be in parliament. A businessman should be in parliament. An activist or a sports person should be in parliament. Not only lawyers, because you know for a fact, lawyers is only one thing in their mind, how they could generate any income. They don't free anybody. It's facts you are to find. And my friends, those of you who are locked on, this program is about facts. That's the reason our program, the name of our program is Hard Facts, where we deal with facts.
I don't want to prolong the program, but a simple question. Why is it and how is it in Trinidad and Tobago not a minister of religion sits in the House of Parliament or the House of Representatives?
I tell you something.
Because you've got the next program.
No, I will answer that now. I tell you something, I will answer. Honesty is not one of the criteria to be in politics. Because you know for a fact, when you go across there, if you are trying to be righteous, right? You are trying to be righteous, you are trying to do the right thing, you cannot go in Parliament doing the right thing. You always have to compromise your faith. And that's the reason why I tell you this. I don't want to be in Parliament. I don't want to be in Parliament. Simply because, you know why? Because you might be the one. I remember when I now started, I told them that I would not be dealing with alcohol, I would not be dealing with gambling, I would not be dealing with this and that and the next. And I stipulated and I handed it on to the political leader of the United National Congress, and she agreed with it. Hence the reason I joined and I was there. But again, an honest person, an honest politician, right, is something that is very hard to find. Because any politician say that they are honest, then a prostitute can say she's a virgin. I thank you, and may God Almighty bless you all.